Legal Defense Fund after a long and really successful and career in doing civil rights work. This is a difficult time. If there's anyone who I would be confident is up to the task that she's facing, it is Janai, and we're proud to be in the same business as you. So let me.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Good. It's a beautiful night, and I love the theme of joyful justice. We at the Legal Defense Fund talk about the joy in our work so often because that's what coheres those of us who answer that calling to do racial justice work. And I won't be too long. I know you all would love to mingle more, but I will start with a brief story about Dennis that I just told, that when I came to the Legal Defense Fund back in the year 2000, Dennis was part of a pantheon of 4 lawyers who headed one of our practice groups. He headed our education group. And all we could think of as baby lawyers was how would we ever grow up to be the formidable lawyer that someone like Dennis Parker or the late Jackie Berrien or George Kendall or Bob Strout would be leading these practice areas. So it is with great humility that I stand here as the 8th President and Director Counsel of the Legal Defense Fund in the presence of the Dennis Parker. But the wonderful thing about the Legal Defense Fund is that it has a diaspora of attorneys who are doing incredible things in the world. And one of them is here tonight, Deborah Archer, who is the president of the NCLEJ board. And so many, and it's just an honor to be here with John and Jackie and all of you. But I want to talk about the relationship that the Legal Defense Fund has had with NCLEJ. We were founded, as you may know, in 1940 by Thurgood Marshall, who later became the first Black Supreme Court Justice. And a mere 25 years later, the Center for Social Welfare Policy and Law, hope I got it right, was founded. And that began a relationship that endures to this day. In 1967, we worked with the Center to study poverty in Mississippi. We then had a Jackson, Mississippi office that was headed by none other than Marion Wright Edelman, who now is the head of the Children's Defense Fund. So you heard me on that diaspora piece, right? We send people out into the world and they do amazing things. We worked with the center back then on poverty in the South, and we held a conference called Municipal Services and Welfare Rights to gather people in Atlanta to begin talking about how we can bring services to those forgotten communities. We litigated cases with the center, school lunch case. I think that was around 1972. We litigated a case, and you talked about process, John. We litigated a case that spoke to the issue of termination of benefits without process. That you couldn't just terminate families and their benefits without giving them some due process before you did that, and to prevent that from happening. So this is a long relationship. That was just the beginning. Fast forward to February of this year, and our partnership with the center led to the settlement of a long-standing desegregation case out of Connecticut, Sheff versus O'Neill, that helped to integrate the public schools in Connecticut. And I really want to point out that connection between the South and the North, because people think that in the North there's no segregation. It's, why would you have a desegregation docket in the North? Because the North is just as problematic, just as racist, just as segregated as any other place. We actually are sitting in one of the cities that has the most segregated public school system. So that work just demonstrates how important the ecosystem is of groups that do racial justice work. We could not have had the successes we've had as a formidable national civil rights organization without the partnership of this national civil rights organization that has done the very specific expert work that it does. And so when you support NCLEJ, you are supporting an entire ecosystem. You are supporting all of us indirectly because none of us can do this work alone. And it is through these partnerships that we are able to achieve the goals that we achieve. And so I'm just incredibly proud of the many decades of relationship that we've had with the center. And it is wonderful to be here to actually meet some of the staff who I haven't had the benefit of interacting with. I want you all to raise your hand if you are a staff member. You should be very proud of the incredible work that you're doing. And I want to thank you for it. And those of you who have the ability to continue to support this work, know that you heard about these matching pledges, right? If you give, there's a match. There's no match tonight. I'm not going to set this up, but I am going to say that when you support organizations like the center, as I said, you are supporting so many others. You are supporting the communities that they serve, the council that they work with. You are supporting individuals. You are supporting staff. You are supporting a future of joyful justice that is essential to save our democracy. And I'll just close on what may be a bit of a down note, and that is that we are in crisis. I mean, let's make no mistake about it. We need people to be doing social justice, racial justice, now as critically as any other time in our history. We are on the brink. And it is because of these institutions and organizations that we've made the progress that we've made, and that we will be able to hold those gains and hopefully use this as a moment of leverage and transformation and not allow our democracy to disintegrate in the way that a small minority of this country is trying its very best to do. So I celebrate the center tonight, and I'm just so honored to have participated in this event, and I look forward to hopefully mingling and talking with the rest of you for as long as we'll enjoy this rooftop. Thank you.
Thank you so much to each our very special guest and to all of the special guests who are here tonight.